All right, y'all, let's get into the Earth going into the red planet because we are headed fast into there and we can see the seasons changing. And as the nuclear fusion comes to Earth, it's going to be harnessing the sun's power. And as it harnesses the sun's power and the God comes to live with man in one way, right? The God living with man is going to happen in multiple ways. But a big way is the nuclear fusion, all right? That's the fused sun. When the two suns, they come together to live and rule man as one, all right? In the two kingdoms. So there is going to be the nuclear fusion. This is where the groundbreaking technology, because Lucifer cast as lightning, Satan cast to the ground. We know that lightning works with the ground. And there is ground wire with electricity and all those little things. But these help us tell us who God is and the constructs of this world, because the visible things are based on the invisible things. All right. And this is where the dark speak comes in, where some people can see or hear the future based on what's being said now. Okay. So the seasons are going to be changing because we don't need to see the sea suns anymore because they're living with us, all right? And God's Spirit's moving upon all men right now, and we're either being caught up or left behind, all right? And the crops, the food, and all these things going into the future are all going to be taken away in one way, shape, or form. And the weather's going to be changing where you get like the summers that never end. We might be starting that summer that never ends right now. Or going to the ice age where it's just cold for 6 months or whatever, right? But it's going to get to a point where our food production doesn't necessarily work the way that it should work, or it doesn't grow where it should normally grow or whatever, okay? And we can kind of see this looking back with like where the desert areas now, they tell us they used to be fertile and now they're not fertile anymore, okay? And this is where like the dams will break, because right now everything is constructed around a dam, all right? And this is why it says like to those who live in Judea to flee to the mountains, because you're all living in lower ground. And when these dams break, the dam, it's going to flood the earth and get your flood again, where it's not the earth flooding, but it's the areas where people live in are flooding, and that's because the dam broke. So that would change the whole map of America, all right? And then there's going to be parts that would collapse in and different things like that, but those will come in different times in different parts of the burn, because there's going to be 3 burns that I talked about in my other video with the trilogy of the 88, 89, 90 episodes, which would be 2023 to 2025, 2020 or 2030 to 2032, and then 2034 to 2036, those time frames, okay? Or 2037, that would be the 777, the 777 line, and that would be the full-blown last Trump time frame, and the bar lines are dropped and all these different things, okay? So you get the 3 bar lines, that's the 3 kids with Trump, and then you have the last Trump, probably Barron Trump, that would come up in 2036 or whatever, and that would put him, I think it's 30 years old, which would be the 3, the 1C or whatever. Either way, folks, and that would be the Bear Ron. So we have the Hanging Gardens of Babylon now constructed, and that's your indoor vertical gardens or your indoor hydro gardens, and they're just hanging there with the nutrients flowing through and all these things. That's the mirror of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and these will be used. A lot of these plants that are being grown in there now are not going to be grown in the future when it's all said and done, because the Philos universes come on and they're going to start giving the beast man the ape sticks, and they will love their ape sticks while they're sitting in their cave as they caved in their darkness and all these other things. But that's going to be done because they've been working on synthetic cannabinoids and all those other things. But That's going to be taken away, and that's where the food's going to be grown, and that's why the government, Bill Gates is coming in and buying farmland, and all these rich dudes are coming in and buying the farmland. Those are all government agents. If you see their face, and it's like people that everybody knows their face around the world or whatever, that is a family puppet of the 12 families or 10 families, however many that run it, all right? And this, I assume it's 12 families. There's 10 horns on the sea beast and 2 horns on the earth beast. But, so these are, the ones controlling the earth and the families, and they're all, that's why, like, Taylor Swift, these people aren't clones. That's all probably half a truth, okay? The clones are coming in the future. These people, they're telling you they're all family, all right? And the family has been controlling things this whole time, all right? That's what they want y'all to link together, all right? That's why they look so similar, because they're their daughters or sons or whatever, or grandson, or however it works, okay? Or it's just a Photoshop bullshit photo, all right? When it's one of those ones of like 1800 or 1700 or whatever, I just assume that's a deep fake bullshit, right? And they're trying to get the truthers to go down these bullshit rabbit trails to make you think that everybody's cloned or whatever, right? So then you start thinking everybody's cloned, or everybody's a tranny, or everybody's this, or everybody's that. So then you discredit your own self, because you don't have the discernment to figure out who's a real tranny and who's not, okay? Or who's a clone and who's not a clone, or who's in blackface, who's not in blackface, or whatever, okay? Whatever they got people going down, all right? It's like these people just take this and they just get on the line and they just get yanked into the boat, and they get caught up in the web. They get caught in the net, all right? These truther shows, these CIA channels, they're all put out there to lure you. And that's why they just keep coming out with this shit you never even have heard of. And then all of a sudden, once one of them talks about it, all the other of them talk about it, and they just take off with it, okay? And then none of these people will talk to you. None of these people will respond to you. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over again. They're going from one media to another media, and they're controlling the issue, and they're making everybody think that they can make a living doing this stuff, that they can get their 50,000 followers or whatever, when they're just trying to see what works on the population. These are all individual tests, and they're wanting to see what takes off with the person, because they're doing a study. They're studying man. So it's actually like, if you look backwards, it's God putting in the personality of man, and then man takes it into the future and just runs away with it, okay? That's how everything's going into one point, okay? All of our entertainment, all of our music, all of our television or whatever, it's all going into one point. That's how it's getting so cliche. The Tan Man, the Manhattan Project. Donald Trump, he's orange. Say tan, the Tan Man. Okay? Born in 46, the 46th Biden, he's the 45th, all right? You never stop at 45. All these things just go on and on and on, because the signs are all around you, and the syllables have opened up, and everything is a network of information. And once you figure out the network of information, then you can start following the net down to the maze and the puzzle, okay? So as we're going into a time where nuclear fusion is going to bring man into the next age, okay? That's where you're going to get like your Star Wars. And you're going to be a caveman, but you're going to have this technology, right? It's going to be pretty cool. But that's where Star Wars, they're living in the ground. They got dirt all around. They got floating vehicles off the ground, okay? They use the animals. They work with the nature and all those other things like the Ewoks. the e-walks, the electronic walk, the person that is walking in the time for the electronic age coming up, for the wall king. The wall king just built the wall of Nehemiah, Trump, and that's going to be the new Wailing Wall for the morning star that he's right now. Because the donation, the donation, the climate change is going to change in many ways. It's going to change physically, and we're going to get the red planet, and the oxygen is going to be probably depleted in a sense to where man's going to have to go out in a spacesuit and breathe the oxygen and become without form and void. And that's like another egg and being cocooned, right? And we come from a cocoon and being hatched out of the cocoon and being a man and being free and all these things, okay? Just look backwards. How we're going back. And then man coming from the egg. That would be your clone babies and all that in the future. And the round egg things that they show. Either way, folks, the things that the evolution, the evolution, the beast man going from the beast, Genesis 1 to the beast and the future, that's all symbolism, okay? That's all dark speak for what's going on now and the future and whatever. So the egg, the flat earth stuff, the heliocentric stuff, the truther stuff, the textbook stuff, everything plays a role right now, okay? The jack of all trades, the one-eyed jack, okay? These things play a role on when you can see or not. The Renaissance man, okay? Are you able to do handyman stuff? The handy-man, all right? The more you are educated in the world, the more you're educated in life, the more you know how to cook, clean, research, weld, electricity, build a house, whatever, okay? If you're a jack of all trades, then you're going to understand more things. The more you are the Renaissance man, the more you're going to understand more things, okay? The problem is the people are going to be destroyed for the lack of knowledge because they have not done their homework. They did not get the alarm clock going off, okay? And some of us have had an alarm clock since an early age. Some of us have got the alarm clock in 2001, okay? The other alarm clocks was the blood moons, the Obama nation, all those types of things, all right? So one has to have the eyes and the ears to be able to see and hear, all right? Because it's a test of men, and we're in a spiritual test of men, and the spiritual test of men is the tribulation of the word, and words are spirit, and we have to be able to test the words and test the word, because the words are all out there, but the foundation of the word is in a book, okay? But the people, they love their Baal worship. That's why they go and buy Baal from their past ear, and they sit in the pews because they stink with all the stuff that's around them. Am I right? And they don't even know that they're sitting in shit when they're sitting in the pew. All right, folks. And now the beast man is sitting in the seats, the sea, the cross, because they're going to be crossed, and it's part of the double cross that's coming, and they're going to be hung on the cross, and that's all part of what's coming. And they took the fruit, and they got to run to the Apron, who's coming up, and the Aaron is coming up, and the Moses is coming up, and all these things, folks. And we're going into a time where there were spies in the land, and the bond age for the spies in the land, and all these different things, okay? So it's all right here. We're going into the red planet. The red wave's here. It's all coming.